All right. Test 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right. So um, just for all intents and purposes, I'm going to explain. I'm going to talk through everything I'm doing. Then I'll just share the recording, and you, if I was going too fast, or if you have questions,
I can
interrupt
always
me.
go back.
Right. But you can always go back. But if you have questions, interrupt me. Right. All right. So, but I'm gonna assume you know none of this. All right. So one of the things, if we go back to Discord and we look at repos, and I click this. So GitHub is like a way. Think of GitHub as, if you're familiar with like Google Docs, like kind of this an optimized way of like sharing and revising code. Um, it's called, typically it's following under the umbrella of a version control system, and it's just like multiple people can work on it at one time. It's collaborative. It's easy to share it. There has a lot of tools to like track issues. Let's go to something that has a lot of commits. So there's 83 commits. Each one of these items here was one of the students, which seemed like the same student. Oh no, it's multiple students, different people committing and contributing, right, to this code base, right. So it's real good system. So anytime you hear GitHub, we're talking about code. Now this is the repo that we have here. Is this Phygo, and really what this is we've been working on for years this idea of making the process of working with these sensors easier. So y'all saw NeuroBlock, which was our like simplest version that we've ever thought of or implemented with physiologic, with just connecting blocks and being able to create things. And that's great when you want to do have simple applications and like engage like middle schoolers, upper elementary, and high schoolers with like basic applications. But on the research side of things, um, especially when we talk about using AI and like modern and like late breaking AI AI algorithms implementations to do things like detect your brain activity or detect your muscle activity, it's easier for us to use Python. That's why I was telling y'all like learn Python, right? Because that's just state of the art frameworks are in Python. Um, but what we didn't have, which I just implemented, is a way to set up stations to do some of this advanced stuff with a limited amount of commands. We're gonna test it out. It might work. It might not work today. We're gonna see in real time. But this is the instructions for getting this project up and running. And the only thing this project should do is just allow us to connect and stream and plot data from this. Right. So it's like very basic. So the first thing you want to do is just say git clone, run this git clone command, and then this is the URL. But if you want to clone any repo, you just go over here to code, and I always have this link. And anytime you do git clone and then put that link in it, it'll pull all of that code down to your personal computer.
Sort of like an import type thing.
Similar to import,
But it actually saves on your.
but it actually saves on your computer, right? Exactly. It's very much so the same thing as like there's code somewhere. I need it on my machine. I need my machine. And when we use the import statement, it's like I need this specific program to import this specific library. When we use git clone, it's like saying I need all of the files dumped on my machine. Yep. Yeah, very similar concept. So to do that, we'll do git clone that URL. So if Git is on here, it'll pull it down. Because my first test was to make sure Git was on all these machines. But you see, it says Git is not recognized, right? So this is a good error because now we like, oh, PowerShell doesn't recognize Git. That means that Git is not installed on this computer. So now I need to figure out, okay, how to install Git on my computer. This is important because if you go and leave and you want to do this or teach GitHub, the first area you're gonna run into is Git is not on your computer. There's multiple ways you can do this with Git. There's also a GUI version, but we're gonna not use the GUI version. We're gonna use the terminal bar version. Install Git. Man, it's pretty typically it's pretty simple. I just Google it, right? And so there's these two different ways of installing it, but you need, this is Linux. I literally said Windows. All right, so installed on Windows. There we go. The most official build installed on the Git website. So, okay, this is click here for the latest version. It's the most recent maintained build. It was released today. Okay, so this could be a good or a bad thing. What did I do? Um, and what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to update that README to say if you need to install Git, this to download. So that just starting from bare basic, you can just install this. All right, so we're gonna. I kind of want to know how to install this
Scratch.
from the command. Let me see. Using WinGit tool or the Git. Okay, install WinGit tool if you don't have. Let me see if WinGit. Let me see if it's. Okay, we have WinGit, so let's see if we can just run this command. Install id git the current source code PowerShell. All right, here goes nothing. So I can put this in easy if this works. This command. All right, so WinGit is just a terminal. I just kind of moved fast. Let me go. You may have noticed I just typed in WinGit and hit enter. This typically lets me know that, all right, does this computer know where the WinGit program is installed or the location of it? Yes. But if I do Git, it's thrown up because it doesn't know. But I'm using this WinGit install --id git this command to try to install it. Right? Do I need the WinGit at the back of it too? All right, good. So let's see if this command installs Git for us. This looks like it's trying. Okay, it's downloading it. I need to install it. So right here, I'm going to go and respond to. Oh yes. All right, so now it's installing. Great. I'm going to put this in GitHub so I can add that line to the documentation so that, hey, and you can say, please add this line to documentation. Just a way for me when I get back to my machine, I see it and I know to add. Discord is just kind of useful for just general communication stuff. Okay, now if I type Git now, it still says it's not there. Sometimes the installer will request it. Okay, so sometimes what this means is it doesn't recognize it, meaning you installed it, but you need to like refresh, open a new terminal is the way you get the most updated thing. So let's see if it knows here. Okay, so it does not have it recognized here. Okay. It should have known. And I mean, this stuff is pretty. Okay, so you notice when I type Git here, then it showed up. What I did here was just open up a separate PowerShell command. I mean, like application, just to make sure it was reading it. Sometimes, let me see if I exit here. I may have to close this whole program down. Yeah, I have to close the whole program down and reopen it. That's fine. It's just VS Code is abstract in that. Basically meaning that VS Code, like you had to refresh VS Code in order for it to get the updated version. Like it's installed. But you know how in the old days they used to say, after you install this application, restart your computer. And that's why, because it's like the computer need to be rewired to know what's what. Okay. So you may have seen me do a couple of things. LS is the list what's in its directory. So that basically means and then PWD tells you where you are. So this is the location I'm in. Like okay, let me just open it. Do this. So like this is where I am, but yes, you can trust that. But then we have documents and all this stuff. If I say find, right click on this and say find in folder, then it'll open up in the folder view that we like typically see things. try that again. Typically it does. Let's say open and integrated, reveal and file explorer here, right? So this is where you typically. So if you ever get confused, you're like, oh, I downloaded this file and it's not here, and you need to see it visually, you can always right click. But typically you're going to be using commands from Linux. So let's just say, let's try to do our git clone thing, right? So we go back to the documentation here. We go to the GitHub and run this again. The only thing we were trying to do here was just get the Git program to work so that we can run this. This should create a folder called Phygo or Phi. I don't know how I'm pronounce it. I just call it Phygo. It's Christopher. Hey. Yep. Was it? Oh, probably so. I probably overlooked it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, can we order some for students in this one? I have. I guess, and I'll get some, but I think the main thing, use the overhead. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me you could get their sizes. Miles. Oh, Miles on the crunch. Okay, when Vincent everybody in the crunch. We need to get shirt size. When we eat pizza and stuff today, get everybody's shirt sizes. So we can send it to Chris. Or send it to admin. Or Kaylee. Sorry, Kaylee. Reply back to Kaylee email. Let me put a big sticky note in the mail today. Or shirt sizes. All right, I'm writing it on the board now because most of the layouts.
There's no marker in here.
There's no markers. Great. Okay.
I can get one.
Is it okay? All right, sounds good. Thank you. Sure. They're like, have you answered? I know everybody. I'm gonna get a lot of calls like that. I sent you an email like 3 days ago. Why not? Y'all don't know the CC deadline this week, and I understand that, but we don't have any. I don't have any either. We need a marker, a dry erase one.
I can grab one real quick.
You'll go get one from that. I know we put a lot in the workshop. Yeah, go grab one real quick. Okay. Let us not. Let's keep going on this. All right. So now, if I do, you remember how to list? What was the command for listing? ls. So now I can see, and then I started here. I was here, but I had to change directory into that directory. Now I hit ls, I can see what's in here, right? Mm-hmm. So that's great. That's the stuff. Now what I want to do is I want to open, like I want to see these folders. Oh, I could have just cloned it here. No, I could have did that. But typically this is how you would do it. So I'm gonna go documents, find it, directory. Oh wait, it's not in documents, it's HTML PHR Phygo. So it should be. Oh, this is the cloud. So this could be confused. So these computers are connected to the cloud, but there's also that's shared, but there's also a local. So that confuses me sometimes, and I don't know which one of these users. This should be here. Wait a minute.
It's in the Phygo.
I go here, users.
Yeah, that.
HTML.
And go down to the thing.
There we go. All right, so it's right here. Boom. So yeah, it's the one. This PC. Okay. I forget that a lot of time. This. I don't know what that is. But I'm gonna just say no. And this opens up so that you can see the file. So it's a bunch of stuff in existing scripts that I'm gonna show you. But the most important thing is to like open up VS Code. Yeah, just write shirt sizes there. My car remember that. Okay. Point thing. This is kind of the standard setup. Your terminal down here, PowerShell, whatever folder you're working at, encoded in on this left side. Because then, like, if you want to like look at this file, you just click it and it's there, and you can edit it if you want to, or just look at what you need. All right, but the Phygo framework is kind of what you all are going to work in or with through the summer, and I'll explain kind of everything that we need y'all to do. We can share scripts here. You can look at the scripts. Y'all are at y'all scripts here and commit. So I'll show y'all how to do that, all kind of stuff. But it's just kind of the framework, similar to kind of how y'all did MateBlock. We had the standard setup for the projects. This is the standard setup for this project. All right. Next thing, and we talked about that. We did that stuff. The next thing is this virtual environment. Let me see if we need to install anything that execute this. So I go here. So this command is just python.mv env, and this is going to install what's called a virtual environment in this.
What is doing that C thing at the end of?
The CD.
No, like when it goes red, or is that
Control C?
No.
I'm
like,
sorry. Is it working? It's very finicky. Let's see.
Like that.
Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
This exited. This creates a new terminal line.
Okay.
So basically, like, okay, that's in. Let's say I just wanted to. I did something here, and I just want to start fresh. I do Control C, and it goes to the next line.
Okay.
So, whatever that's. I forgot what you call it. Character.
But it doesn't run anything.
And this is also what you do. Like if a program is running, you want to exit. Control C is a command to force exit the program.
Okay.
So it's like I want to start over. I want a blank slate, right? In the new line, that's kind of what that. So okay. So this line created a virtual environment, right? So let's look at it. I ran it, and now we have this VNV folder here. If you notice, the only thing that you need to, the way you conceptualize this is like Python. For certain projects, you want certain libraries installed, and they need a specific version. So let's look at this requirements file. Like the code that I'm working with, or that this project uses. I mean, I don't know if it uses all these libraries. I actually need to like remove some of this, but I'll play with that later. But let's just say that all of these libraries are used at some point in the back end of the program or the art. So what this basically says is I know exactly what files need to be installed in order for the project to work. Now I'm going to work on minimizing this because I don't think all of these programs are necessary. But for the most part, this is kind of these are the libraries we need, right? So the next question is how to actually install all of these libraries at one point. And so this whole conversation really boils down to being able to do this next step, which this makes it so much easier to do manage these types of projects. This next command basically is saying run the activate program that's inside of this virtual environment. So let's see if this works first. Let's see if it works. That's not good.
It says running scripts is disabled on this system.
This is important. Let me see. This is an important issue. This has implications for all our works. This is gonna be a headache. All right, so let me see if I close this out and I go back and open up VS Code and run as an administrator if I still get that. Because if I'm running this as an administrator, it should let me do it. Nope. Good grief. All right, so man, no, I don't like that. All right, so,
See something about execution policy.
yeah,
Say something about that.
yeah. I think I'm going to have to change the execution policy, but this is a new error. Let me see. I don't remember ever doing this. Let me take a step back from this. So this is an error I've never seen before. Part of me. This is PowerShell. This is Windows. But this system, this user, this is still managed with like a specific user account. And so this makes sense, and we're gonna have to do this for all of our machines. But let me see. This is when, so with errors like this, the old school way is just to dump it. And see, kind of, I mean, this is a common issue. Sometimes the links they send you to are fine, but sometimes you just have to see what other folks. It might be a problem with execution. To fix this, execution instruct process. It's mentioned. They're referring to this line. Current user. So I might, for example, the following gets the execution policy. Okay. So now if I go back here and I say, give me the execution policy, it's undefined for the current user. That's interesting. Oh no, I'm sorry. That user isn't defined. This user that we're working with now is HTLC. Cannot bind scope. Okay, so I guess this was right. Okay, this is the current user, and so policy name to change the execution policy. Current policy name. What are the policy names? Remote sign. Let's go remote sign. Command execute receiver. Change to remove. PowerShell. Current user undefined. Remove. So I don't think it actually has. Set a different one. Set single session. That's fine. Execution Windows core server number. Okay, so most of our stuff is going to be here. I'm not sure what the remote sign, the different policy names. They don't have.
I was gonna say, do we want to change it or remove that?
Right now it says undefined, so I don't think one is defined for this one, which is interesting. If you activate local machine, if you set the execute for the scope to local machine or current user change setting configuration file, if you set the execution process scope, it's not setting configuration, the execution process is retained until the process and any child will close. Okay. To set this in a particular scope. Okay. Remote sign. Okay, so that's cool, but I need to know what I need to unrestrict it. It seems like, so this seems like this will allow us to do it for this specific session, but after we close it, it'll give us the issue again. Let's see. So that activated it there, but if we, so, all right, so while we here, what this basically said, and let me just send there, gotta update the documentation. See this is more complicated than I wish, but It's how to get it done, at least for now. And so as we go through this is why neuroblock is so important. Because like anything outside of neuroblock looks like at least starting up this. And let me while we're here, and you can kind of get to see how we do stuff on the back end as well, like stuff related to neuroblock. I'm just going to what? Oh, need to. So what I'm doing now is just in case other folks run into this error, they know how to fix it, and they will, and they'll get this error, and they'll say, "Can I crop? Where is the crop? I never use this. Is the crop? Okay, there you go." And then save this to document, this PC, users. We need to get downloads, policy error. Just add that there. Okay. Boom. So we did that to get rid of fix the policy, or at least temporarily, and we did that to do install Git, do that. Okay. All right. So the next step will be let's explain what's happening here. So you notice I'm gonna do deactivate to go back to how it was. You notice that green thing went there. So anytime you see like this green parentheses with a name, this means that when I say Python, it's talking to a Python that's installed, and you see Python version 3.13.5 across the whole computer, right? But when I activate it using .venv scripts activate, and say Python, it says the same thing by default, but it could change some things. So I could say pip list, or oh no, this is running Python. Yeah, if I exit this, that just open the Python interpreter. But if I say pip list, it will list what's installed. And pip is like we talked about like importing something in code, but in order to actually install those libraries, we use pip install. So basically, like they say, oh, it's a new library we want to try out, and we want to add it to our project. Before you can do import, you have to say pip install, right? And that'll become more that'll become more clear as you practice with it. But if I go and say pip, I don't even know if pip is installed here. Pip list, it's the same setup. But we're about to see it get different. So I'm going to say activate. So by default, I think it just inherited what was happening. Now we have this requirements file. Now I'm in the Phygo. I want to install all the required libraries. So to do that, I go to this next line, pip install requirements.txt. See if this works. So, all right, so what it's doing now is taking all of the libraries that you need and installing it on the computer.
Okay.
So it works on my computer, but like it's like the code and the scripts that I'm about to show you won't work on your computer until you install and configure all the libraries that you configure. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. How do we get the same environment that's on my computer, on this computer, on that computer, right? And this is one of the...
So GitHub has been the easiest solution for it?
Oh, yeah. Especially when you have a fluid project, basically meaning, you know, we could, in the heat of this work, we could have nightly builds. Meaning that there's some new code that's updated like every day, and we need to like update it and keep all of them updated. And so in this case, having scripts to do this, having scripts to do this is much faster than installing it one by one or get the flash drive and update them. Right? We can automate this whole process of pulling these projects down. And so it's a mix of Git and pip and stuff like that. It just makes it easier to manage complex projects faster. Yeah. I guess while we kind of wait for this to install, the next one is to go to the scripts and run the program. So what we hope is that we can go in here, go to the scripts, do this run test, and it records the data from it and plots it for us. And we kind of doing all what we're doing now just to get to this point. Um, now we know.
So this is all just to collect the data and to.
This is to collect and analyze the data, right? Yeah, and to build. So we're gonna add. You can build an app. We have some scripts to show you how to build apps with this stuff as well. All of this stuff is we have it in various different projects. But I'm trying to work on combining them together. So what does that mean? You're gonna maybe try out a project that looks like this, right? And you have this plot data function, you have this main function, but you're looking up here and we're importing this thing called HTL EEG. Not HTL. So that's our project, right? And so if you go here and you say, all right, now I want to, hey, Wes, now I want to go to HTL EEG. And if you look under the hood, similar to what we did with like MateBlock or MBlock or whatever we called it, all of these functions already wrote for you all. So and then I'll be adding to this to make this like easier. You can go in here and look to see how some of this stuff works under the hood, but it's not necessary, right? It's just like it's necessary for us because we build the software. But if you just want to build an application that does something with Physio, you can just focus on importing it in and using it. And so what this does is it starts the stream. It collects 60 seconds of data. Now, let's add a variable data length. So I can just say 10 seconds. So data length. Because it just say data length times sleep is going to sleep for 10 seconds, right? That basically means it's going to collect 60 seconds or 10 seconds of data. Then it's going to come here. It's going to save it as a data frame. We'll talk about the data frame, and then it's going to plot it, right? And that's kind of now. Is this done? Oh, it's done. Okay. All right. So let's see if it works, right? Now, if this works, hooray! Because that means we have a new way of doing this stuff. Another side. Okay, we have a new way of doing this stuff that, even though that wasn't as smooth as I expected, we only had 2 hiccups, right? But in that process, you saw me run into errors. Like I don't know, like, I gotta go look how to fix it, right? So if you're gonna run into issues too, you're like, I don't know. Let me go see if I can find out how to fix it. All right, so we put this in, right? The most important thing here is to go and check out what COM port this is connected to. And the way you do this is just go to Device Manager and go down to Ports. And we see that it's port COM6 right here. So that means we need to change this to COM6. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
and that's the only place to change.
That's the only place you should be able to change. And so another kind of idea about this is that it should be easy. And we'll create a bash script to do all of this stuff like manually to set it up. But it should be easy to go and start and streaming and plotting the data with the ganglion. It should just be as simple as going to this repo, making sure you run all these things. We'll have a script to like maybe just run the script and then do all this. Because I also, I mean, this is good so that you can kind of see how stuff works on the hood, but I also don't necessarily care that you know how to do that. Um, from my end, I just want you to code and do physio analysis, right? But you're just kind of seeing behind the hood, right?
Now, what part of the the board is the ganglion attached to, like connected?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what part is the connection?
So is the question how the data goes from here to here? Great question. Let's let's do this first. I'll kind of as we talk about that. Let's man, I trust that this is going to work, but I think at least until we get comfortable with this new thing, we'll go to the Open BCI GUI. I think we all documents. Where did I know you put the? It's probably in downloads, right? Yeah, here it's in downloads. But let's open this GUI. For you, it's in downloads. It's fine. Um, we might move it later. Short answer is Bluetooth, right? So this sends data from this board to the computer via this dongle via Bluetooth connection, right? And one way we do that, wow, this is
So it was just programmed to be connected to each other.
right, exactly. Um, not sure why this is so huge. It's not being run with administrator. Let's run it with administrator. It's really important to run with administrator on here, I guess. This should be much smaller. I don't know what's up with the scale here. Can I change this?
Probably settings.
Settings?
Turn expert mode
Expert enables advanced keyboard shortcut. I don't know. It don't really matter, but what we really want to do is ganglion, select the Billy dongle. Now it's searching. And we want to make sure that we have to turn it on for it to be discoverable.
So how do you turn it on?
Just this switch on the side.
Okay.
Just this switch. Sorry, it's off and then on. Okay, now let's start searching again. And it should find it. When you find it, you select green here and then start session. Oh.
Also for better performance.
That's cute. we may do this for some of them, but for now, firmware updates are not a fun thing. Now we know the data is streaming here. This is kind of what we want. And I encourage doing this first because it's picking up a pulse. So I'm interested. That must be okay. Let me not get this. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is that?
Like, could it be?
I thought it was this. It's picking up some. It was this. It's this. Yeah, I like. See, this is what keeps me.
It's attracted to the electrical.
Yeah, it's picking up the raw electric. But you see why I love? I'm so fascinated by it because like you could just and a kid did this one in the count. She was the first one to do it. And when I took this off, you see it went away.
Yeah.
It's not that well. It's coming back because I'm moving, but it's picking up on all of these artifacts. Anyway, only reason why I showed you this is just so that you can do this to make sure the computer can connect to the board. Or if you're programming in something weird and you're like, why is it not connected? I always go back to the GUI to make sure it's not a hardware issue. Right?
Okay.
This is like a troubleshooting hack. But what should happen is I should be able to, and again, this is in the documentation. Go to the scripts folder and run a record test. So CD scripts. I'm LSing just to make sure I'm in the right directory. And I see the record test, right? So I go Python, record test. Okay. Everything's looking good so far. It's just loading up stuff. So at some point it should say starting stream if everything. So this is kind of depending on if all the files were installed correctly, the virtual environment is configured correctly. Mainly those two things, and get the connection. So it's saying start stream. Now, the reason why we use a virtual environment with those hard set library versionings on it, that requirements file. Okay, and this is fine, right? So now, what's different about what you think? Why you think we're really excited about this? What's different about now? I showed you this pretty GUI and things moving around and all that. Let's look at it first, and maybe you'll see. So how did we do this? We created this HTLEEG variable. This is just a variable to do all things physio with the ganglion, right? And basically, I'll take you. Let's look at this get data, right? Function in the HTLEEG. So this is, and you can look at it. All this is doing is getting the data from the board, and it's saving it into something called a data frame. Think about a data frame as a table, right?
Okay,
So it's
so
getting,
that's why.
yeah. So it's saving it as a table and it's returning it as div, right? That's all this is doing. But because it's doing that, and then this function is just plotting it. So it's getting that data frame and it's plotting that data frame. We'll talk about this ilog and all that. And we'll probably, yeah, that might be where we end, and then I'll give you some stuff to play around with. And then at the end, we're calling stop stream. And then we're also div saving it to a file, right? So this file, this reads as and then to stop this, you have to go up here and exit this. So let's talk about. So that plot was there. So it's plotted the data frame. This one basically means that it's plotting channel one. And I know just by brute force testing this that channel one was not channel one, it's actually column one. I'll explain it to you. But I know that the data in column one corresponds to hey, come in. I know that the data in column one corresponds to Austin. Can you send me an email with your shirt size?
Sure.
Wesley, can you send me an email with your shirt? Can you send me an email with your shirt size? All right, good. and as more people come in that's in the lab, remind me to ask them for their shirt size. Okay. Piggly Wiggly. I got a text from Piggly. That's crazy. All right. Data frame. Okay, so you notice this. Now, if I do present working directory, I'm in scripts folder, right? Anytime you see this dot, it means go up one folder, right? So I'm in the scripts folder. It's saying go up one folder and then go to data. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I need to go up one folder, and then the data folder is up one folder, right? As you go inside of the folder, it's kind of like extends the long way, right? So I could have saved this in the same directory if I just said that, right? But we want to kind of keep it clean and put all the data we want to put all the data in this folder. Now, if you notice, it has this squeeze data 3, right? But for you could say, all right, well, maybe I want to do this and say this is my first muscle test 1, right? I say, and that's what I want the file name, right, to be. You change that and say, oh, instead of 10 seconds, I just want to do 5 seconds, right? You can just change those and literally come in here, run it, and it's going to collect 5 seconds of whatever the data from that channel is, and it's going to save it. It's going to plot it, right? And then if I come over here, it's going to save it. Now, when we look inside of here, you'll notice that, and this is part of some, like, I want y'all to explore.
So it's just giving me the column, the date of the first.
Right. So you got a total of 14 or 15 columns, really, because it's zero index. But we know, or I know, that that first column is the data that's coming from the EMG data.
Okay.
Right. And that's just all right, any questions about that? Because this is the most important part. Because
So the first column, that's the zero, the
it's the
one.
one.
Okay. So the one, the
478,
okay.
-7, right? And so each of these are like just the latest sample. Now, the other thing that's important that it's okay now. I think I just do this by heart. Let me check on something.
Because it's index. It starts at 0.
Yeah, the index start. Yeah, you learned that, right? You seen that? Yeah. Yep, the zero is zero index. Yep. So that's 0. And that's just the way they stored it, and that's fine. The other thing that's important here is when I go to HTML, I just want to make sure I'm doing that. We don't actually have. Okay, I removed that. Okay. I'll probably update some things about, or maybe not. Because, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Take a seat. Send me your shirt size. Email me your shirt size. Okay. But now you can get data, right? And so here's the thing. All right, let's talk about the data frame. Well, the data frame is basically this same thing, right? You have multiple columns, right? And you have a way to access them. Now, data frames, to read about data frames diff comes from this package called pandas. Yeah, this is actually gonna be a really good resource. So you as you go about this will probably be a good tutorial to kind of just like after you stream data, look at this tutorial. Yeah, look at this. Let me see where I should put this. Tutorials, research channels. It shouldn't be a research channel. It's going to be a tools. Yeah. Look at this one. You can make a note of this, but I'm just in the tools channel. Remember to go back to pandas, right? Because you're gonna look at, for example, when we go and do the plot right here, we're saying DF iLock colon channel. Anytime you see colon, it means give me everything. And this is essentially saying give me everything in the row category, but only give me channel 1. And so if you want that, and maybe you'll say,
oh, I got you. And if it was flipped,
it would be like, give me all the channel, all the columns, but just the first row, right? So it's kind of like that's what data frames are, and you kind of play with that, right? Now, there's other things like getting the mean and the max and the min from a row, right? Or from a column, right? However you want to do it. But typically the way we look at this, and I'll show you how to apply it, so you can start playing around with most of data first. Is after we record it, the recording scripts is just typically you want to use this as a way to collect the data. But then you have an analyze script over here that is very messy. Let me clean this up a little bit. I didn't clean up after I was coding this yesterday. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. All right. This also like again less. Let's run this analyze group and then I can explain to you. Hopefully it works. Okay. Okay. Now, what this is muscle activity over time of me like lifting like a 5 pound weight. And you can notice that it kind of goes down and has these spikes. It goes down and has these spikes. Each of these peaks are when I was actually in the action of like lifting it, right? And so there's multiple ways. This is the rectified signal, then there's a moving average, then there's a filter signal. There's different ways you can filter and look at it to get smoother peaks, right? And so in this case, like this red line is way smoother than this like blue line, right? And that's something that's common in engineering to kind of use moving averages. But to do that, I mean, this is actually I'll leave the comments in, but it's not that many lines of code really to do this. This plot multi, again, is a function that just plot multiple line graphs on top of each other. And if I go here to Physio visualize, these again is just a function I pre-built. And I might add new functions. Say, hey, y'all added a new function. Or you might come up with a function. I'm like, oh, that's a really good function. Let's add it to the core function, right? Yeah. And so this is kind of what the process of like building software looks like. There's more functions to make the program do more advanced things, right? Now I think what you should try while we kind of when I'll shift over is do a couple of different tests or different recordings. Like so you can like, put it on your legs, put it in your arm and see kind of what different types of results you see. And you can build on these two like record and analyze groups to kind of like do that. Just right now, you don't really even have to like change the code. You can just change the amount of time and then the name of the file.
Now, what would the like? How do you? Well,
oh yeah, I can show you how to
positioning of them.
So and then the other thing is I'm going to show you how to measure like the forearm, but it's like you can measure forearm, the leg, the back of your ear. Like you can like capture different electrical, and you can like the thing to do is kind of look up, ganglion and measuring leg, ganglion measuring, fingers. Like just look up different and then like try to find the electrode placements. That's more of an art than it is a science. But where's the pizza? Mouse? He went for a walk. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me see. Oh, sorry. So you put these on first, these paste, right? These things. And then this DG here, this is the ground. This blue and the green are the active electrodes.
So order matters.
Well, the placement matters more than order. So you see, anything that's here is the ground, and so this is yellow. So for the basic one, and you'll have different grounds, but for the basic exercise, we do this, and then we do one down here, and then one up here, right here, right? So, and then if I go here and I just say CC, right? Just for me, right? Carpet says whatever you want to name this, right? And if I do 15, right? And then I go record because I want to run this record. Make sure the device is on. Or here's what you do: you just disassemble the whole car, ship piece by piece, because like the smaller packaging is cheaper. Yeah, there's some kind of Lego master builder here. I am actually. Oh, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything actually. So let me go to 20. I just hooked up. I got a kid. Hello. Hey, what's up? You do you see there's some like I think is like some paid. There's two things: paid parking like in the lot, and then there is a parking garage that's close to the third. I would probably go with one of those options, and we probably won't be too long, so it shouldn't be too much. But it's probably I would go with one of those options to make sure you don't get a ticket or anything. Okay. Both of them are gonna ask you for like a card type of situation. They real horrible with like free parking spots out here. But I think if you use the little machine they got out there, you should be straight. And if you go through the parking, then it might just ask you for like a card. Cause I don't actually have my ID on the other side of campus right now. Okay, you see the peaks there
Mhm.
versus. Okay, okay, it's the cert HM Coma. Yeah, yeah, it's right next to Coma. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sound good. All right. See, and it's kind of hard to see, but that is less. Um, somebody had to do 60. Oh, wait. Hey, do you don't know the details on the pizza when the pizza is coming? Did they share that with you? It's probably with me. Nah, they just told me what to order. Okay, all right, I'll double check. Okay. If we go to analyze, that's what we can do. We can say now I want to analyze my data. I was wondering like why this don't look right. It's because what you want to do is go here, change the file it's reading from, and then run analyze. We'll find a more systematic way to do this first. But now you can kind of see those. There's a lot of peaks there, right?
Yeah, from what you were doing.
From what I was doing. But if I go CC1 versus, I'm going to change this to 2, go here, this is my test 2, record test 1, and relax my arm and not like do it. The other thing is this is, I forgot to unhook that. So we do that again. It's just picking up on the same noise that. That's what we want. That's oscillating between 0 and negative 200
I'm
to
gonna say yeah,
200.
the values are
That's it, right?
smaller.
Right.
It looked the same.
Uh
But the
huh.
values are like
Exactly, because it's not. It's scaled properly. Now, watch this. Now, need to filter that out. See? That's what you want. And now, if I go to analyze, it should analyze the same thing.
it'll be test 2.
Yeah, yeah. I think I had already saved it as so that's
Oh,
test
you
two,
did, yeah.
and then that's test 2, right? so you can kind of see. And so you could do things like get the mean, get the max. What would be interesting though is you collect what's the difference from the arm like this or the back of the neck or this and what and try out different things. And you could just right now just observe the patterns and make note of like what's the highest value or something like that, right?
Right.
And then from there you can do other things. But for now, you kind of know how to like collect the data from it, to stream it out. It's kind of painful because I'm hurt. So what I got this also from the students. The students just leave it on them until they're done for the day, and then they'll like take these off. But otherwise, they'll just leave they leave these on them, and they only
Because it
take
gets
these off when they're
normal.
done. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any last questions?
No.
Okay, we did about an hour. All right. So